We good? All right. Okay, guys, so we're back out here in the shop today. We've got the transmission here for the drift car. Mark wants to come in a little bit. Mark's working the camera, by the way. Say, hey, Mark.
Hey.
This is a 3-speed Saginaw. This is the standard issue dirt track transmission. It's not the strongest thing in the world, but, you know, hey, look, we'd like to have a brand new T56 like everybody else, but it is what it is. Is this transmission going to hold up? Probably not. We're probably going to break it. But we got it super cheap, and the reason it was super cheap is because Mark's already narrowed in on the bad part. The ear is broken right here. So I'll show you guys how to do the wrong thing the right way when it comes to fixing this ear. But before we even bother with cleaning all that up and trying to get that fixed, I want to knock the side plate off of it and make sure that it's not just completely crap. I bought it from a friend of mine. So Jerry Knight, if this thing's completely crap, I'm going to come to your house and cut your hair off when you're asleep. Let's see here. Let's get it turned a little bit. Sitting here on the old vise. And we'll just zip the bolts outside of it. You know what this here is, Mark? It's a backup switch. Turns the backup lights on in the car. Or truck, whatever it's.
They had that shit back in the old days?
Yeah, they had back in the old days, man. Back in olden times. Horses and buggies. Everybody had to know when your horse was backing up. So. And this little clip here probably held the wires for it out of the way. So.
Can we put the backup light in there for Chase?
Nah, he ain't gonna be backing up. Although the car is gonna be street legal, so. Well, you don't have to have a backup light. That's for your help, not theirs. At least around here, you don't have to have a backup light. So. Okay. What do you guys think? Junk or no? What do you think, Mark?
Let's go with good.
Let's go with good. Put right now. Put in the comments whether you think it's any good or not. All right. Let's see. Well, so far so good. So far so good. What I'm doing right now is I'm rotating and I'm just going to each gear set to see if I see any chips on the teeth, which for our purposes a couple of chips wouldn't be the end of the world, but a completely broken tooth would be bad. And man, it looks phenomenal. These are the sliders, the little brass looking things are synchronizers. So like, that would be first. That would be reverse. Yeah, that's reverse. And then second. And then third, which is high gear. In high gear, this whole top shaft, just everything turns together. First and second, it turns off the cluster shaft, and reverse obviously turns off the reverser down here. So right now, and being how this thing did set outside a little bit, so it did get a little bit of water in it, nothing crazy. Can you look down there, Mark? I mean, the oil is a little bit cloudy, but nothing crazy. So what I'll do is I'll dump all this old oil out. We'll spray it out with some brake clean, get everything good and clean inside there, and then we'll fix that ear. We'll degrease and degrunge this whole thing, shoot some paint on it, and it'll look like $1,000,000.
And Jerry gets to keep his hair.
And Jerry gets to keep his hair. Jerry didn't do me wrong on this one. And right here, they got a big, that's where the speedometer goes. They got a big old glob of silicone. That's going to have to come out of there. We'll put a freeze plug in there. Little bit of trivia for you. A lot of these 3-speeds didn't come with these shifter mount holes and bosses right here already tapped. This one did. For what we paid for the transmission, this tail shaft alone was worth that. So if we break this one internally and we get another one, if it doesn't have this, we can just switch the tail shaft out. But the plan right now is to get this thing running and going ASAP. The theme for this car is get it done, not get it perfect. So we need to get it done, get it frying some tires, that kind of thing. And then over the winter, we're looking at some different things as far as the engine and the transmission and the rear end and all that stuff there, which we'll get into later. But for now, all that looks good. So we'll move on to fixing the ear. Peace. Okay, so we're out here working on this transmission some more. Mark's trying to sell his Legends car twice. I don't know what he's got going on over here on the old face, on the book of face. But this is our El Cheapo 3-speed Saginaw we talked about before. I went and hit up my buddy Big Don Burns. And I got a cheapo scatter shield. I mean, it's kind of rough looking, but there again, we'll clean this thing up, paint it. We may bead blast this. The transmission, we'll just degunk it and spray it. Okay, yeah, so the ear was broken, and it looked like it actually fit up pretty good to the transmission. But when we got to looking at it and cleaned the silicone out of the way they used to try to seal up the crack, somebody had booger weld this thing with like a buzz box and some coat hangers or something. And so it wasn't fitting as good as it looked like it did. When you put it on there, there was actually a bow on the front of this thing. So I got the bell housing, we bolted the whole thing down to the bell housing and used that as kind of a fixture. And then when it was fixtured up and everything was straight, then this corner definitely wouldn't fit. So we had to do a bunch of grinding and get the old weld out and all that crap to get it to fit up. But we beveled a lot of it so we can fill that with weld. Now, if we were fixing this the correct way, we would heat this area up around here with a torch and use an arc welder with a nickel rod. That's kind of the best way to do it. But here's the deal. The reality of it is, you know, this is a $75 transmission. And so we're gonna do it the wrong thing the right way. So we're gonna go ahead and get this bolt in here. Mark's gonna run it down. Zip it down there, Chief. Make sure everything's kind of square. All right, you happy with that?
Pretty happy with it.
All right, so everything's where it needs to be, and we actually want this gap, believe it or not, because we need to fill that trough up with as much, I shouldn't say as much as possible, with a good amount of weld. We're gonna MIG weld this, and I'll weld all this up out here, and then we'll let it completely cool down, bolt it down to this bell housing all on its own. And once it's completely cooled down, we'll pull the transmission off and we'll weld the face of it, and then grind that smooth. So let's get the welder going. I think that's going to help that extra little bit.
Yeah. Can't hurt, right?
Can't hurt, right? Okay, so we did end up having Mark run a little propane torch around this thing just to get a little bit of heat in it. At least attempt to do it correctly. Weld it. All right, I think that's let me get the wire brush, take a better look at it. Yeah, it looks pretty good. Probably when I weld the front, I'll go back in here and make one more pass over here. But everything else looks pretty good. So that's pretty much that. We'll pick it up when it cools off, and we weld the front side. Okay, guys. So your boy was injured a little bit during the filming of this video. Right before the scene or the shot where we were welding the ear back on the transmission, we were cleaning it out. We were spraying the inside out with some brake clean, and it rolled off the table and onto your old boy's foot. But hey, I powered through it to bring the video content to you guys. So thanks for watching. Please remember to like, comment, subscribe, and we'll see you next time.